completed in 1927, and an open house was held on Armistice Day of that year. The older members who were active at that time feel that all credit for the new firehouse, especially the obtaining of the financing, be given to Mr. Fred M. Brewer, who did a tremendous amount of work at that time. Our company has always enjoyed, and still does enjoy, a versatile membership, and it has always carried on a very active program of fundraising. According to the records, it was decided to put on a pancake and sausage supper during the winter of 1927. It was held in Brewer Brothers' garage, and apparently they had an overflowing crowd as more than 400 people appeared to be fed. As an outcome of this affair, a committee of 3 of the members was appointed to get up a fire company cookbook. There is never any further mention of this committee, consisting of Mr. Alan Fuller, Mr. George Mather, and Mr. Roy Bojan. So apparently that was one committee which did not completely fulfill its duty. The notable feature of the year 1929 was the field day held on the playground and attended by the Lee, Millerton, Lakeville, Sharon, Norfolk, Falls Village, Terryville, and Sheffield Fire Departments. Also in this year, plans and negotiations for another pumper were started. This unit, number 4, was delivered on September 13, 1930, and was a 500-gallon per minute pumper. She cost $5,423. Number 4 is still in service in our fire company today and still does a good job. She was used for the first time at a fire at Mr. Floyd Canfield's house in Canaan Valley on September 20th, 1930. By the end of 1930, the company had purchased 2,000 feet of hose, 2.5-inch hose, which was distributed on all of its equipment. The worst fire in the history of the company up to this point occurred on May 19, 1931, when C.A. Lindell's sash and blind factory burned. Our next largest fire was the Knickerbocker Hotel fire in January of 1933. The loss was estimated at $100,000. Our equipment was constantly changing for the better. I have not attempted to list all of the small equipment, but rather just the major pieces. In 1935, the old Rio chemical truck was sold to the Pine Meadows Fire Department, and in the same year, a panel truck called Number 5 for transporting men and equipment was bought by money bequeathed by Henry B.I. This gave us all modern equipment for the times, in the form of 2 pumpers and a panel. In the December meeting of 1939, our first secretary, Mr. Alan Fuller, resigned after 28 years, although he remained an active member of the company. At this point of the history, there were still 2 charter members on active duty, Alan Fuller and Harry A. Holt. At the January meeting of 1940, Fred J. Hall became secretary and remains as such to the present time. Shortly after this, the practice of so-called still alarms was discontinued. Now the siren sounds for every alarm so that all members may have the opportunity to attend. On July 4th, 1941, a large and very successful field day was held at the airport to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the company. Later in the same year, it was voted to purchase a pumper with a committee of 5 to select and purchase such units. During World War II, the company was sorely taxed for manpower because of many members going into active service and others being occupied by war work. Because of this and other restrictions caused by the war, the annual ball was suspended and was not resumed until the winter of 1945. Number 6, a new 500-gallon pumper, was delivered at the end of 1942 and cost about $6,500. The company was also loaned a trailer pump unit by Civil Defense. The year 1946 had the most fire calls of any year in the company history, a total of 48 for the year. Our third chief, Leonard Caldwell, resigned as chief in 1949, having been chief for 20 years. At that time, Bob Harris was elected chief, a position which he held for 5 years. He was succeeded by John Mullen, who is our present chief, and who at this point I would like to introduce to have him speak to you a little about the modern equipment that we have in our house today and the aims of the company.
Good afternoon. In 1950, after the terrible Maine forest fires, our company started to plan for a new tanker pumper. It took us a long time to obtain this unit because this was the first unit which was actively planned by all 40 members. The present unit number 7 is the result of many months of discussion and research by the company. It is by far the biggest and most comprehensive piece of firefighting apparatus that we have ever owned, and it cost nearly $12,000. Since we obtained number 7, by carrying a large amount of water with us, we feel that we have been able to stop several fires which otherwise would have been lost. We are justly proud of this unit. We now have two-way radio communication on our two newest pumpers in the firehouse and in two portable units which the officers may carry with them. These radios have proved invaluable in coordinating the company's firefighting efforts. When the Southern New England Telephone Company installed its dial system in Canaan, we had to change our fire alarm system. Since that time, the state police in our town have been doing a wonderful job by receiving calls and sounding the siren and relaying information to us. We would like to emphasize here that people calling in alarms can be of great help by being very clear on the directions as to the location of the fire. The Canaan Fire Company likes to feel that it is of a real service to the community in other ways besides fighting fire. We have aided in searching for lost people in flood rescue and assistance. And with this thought, as well as fire protection in mind, we have always strived to screen prospective members as to their interest in the organization. By this means, we have always retained a very active group. This is probably the primary reason why the company became incorporated and has never been dominated by any interest outside of the membership. Consequently, we own outright all of our equipment, firehouse, and the land upon which it stands. And there is no actual taxation in the town for fire protection. With the addition of the new truck, a rescue boat given to us by Civilian Defense, and motor and other equipment, more room is needed in the firehouse, and that will probably be our next project.
Thank you, John. The history of the company has been one of constant interest and dedication from the time it was started to the present day. And we wish to take this opportunity to thank all of the members of our community for the loyal and constant support which they have given us down through the years.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you, Mr. Whiting and Chief Mullen, for giving us a complete picture of the beginnings and growth of the Canaan Fire Company. And that brings us right down to the present moment, when final arrangements are being made for the 46th Annual Washington's Birthday Ball. Chairman for the ball is Warren Foley. Warren, it must be a hard job being chairman of a ball with all the details and all the plans to be carried out.
Well, Ned, this may come as a surprise to you, but I have probably the easiest job of anyone connected with the Fireman's Ball. My job is simply giving the orders, naming the committees, and letting them do all the work. That's why I'd like to thank at this time all the committees and all the committee chairmen for the wonderful job they have done and the great plans they have put together on making this ball a success that I'm sure is going to be. You know, Ned, the firemen in this town have always prided themselves with the fact that we have always tried to give the people something really good for the money they have spent. That is why I'm sure that if the people of the town of Canaan and surrounding communities will come to the new elementary school in Canaan on February 21st, sometime between 9 and 1, they will have a wonderful time dancing to the music of Francis Delfino's orchestra. Among other attractions, we have a gala grand march planned for just before intermission. Probably, Ned, I should explain a little bit about the ball and the reasons for it. It has been explained to you before that we are a free and independent company. Therefore, we must raise all our own money to buy our own equipment, since the town is required to buy none of it. The ball is our yearly appeal to the people of the town of North Canaan for funds, and most of the time it is our only function for the year, unless we have some definite piece of equipment in mind. This year is our 46th annual Fireman's Ball, and I can't urge the people enough to please give our appeal letter their kindest attention. You have heard our chief outline his plans and thoughts for coming years as to changes and improvements in our firehouse and additions of new equipment to our already good supply of fire apparatus. In order to accomplish these aims, we must have the necessary funds, so that we may give you good protection that we have always tried to furnish this town of ours in the years gone by, and we hope to continue in the years to come. I am not sure just what else I can say on behalf of the Canaan Fire Company, but in summarizing, I might add that the best way I know of to show our appreciation for the hard work the committees have done to add life and color to the annual ball is to come to the school on February 21st and to enjoy this great affair with your fellow townsfolk.
And so you have heard from various members of the Canaan Fire Company in their respective capacities on this occasion in behalf of the company and the 46th Annual Washington's Birthday Ball being held next Thursday evening, February 21st, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. in North Canaan Elementary School Gymnatorium on P Street. This school is new and the gym is beautiful and a source of great civic pride. Certainly the most important thought we want to implant steadfastly in your mind is support the Canaan Fire Company. Through your cooperation by borrowing tickets to the 46th Annual Washington's Birthday Ball, and get out and enjoy dancing to Francis Delfino's fine orchestra yourselves, and see and enjoy the beautiful new school and the beautiful gym where the floor is as smooth as glass. Remember, these dollars you spend for just good entertainment will go to work for you by helping to protect you, your family, your property, yes, even your whole community. Enjoy yourself, help yourself, protect yourself in a kind of package deal for which the price is very modest, but the value you can realize is immeasurable in comparison with the size of your initial investment. Peace of mind alone is a big portion. Certainly there is little more that we can say. We can only urge you again to respond generously because you can't regret it. You can only benefit. One last word to our listeners. If anyone has not received a card which carries the phone number for notifying the company of a fire, please get in touch with the company, either by mail or phone Taylor 47222, and Chief Mullen will supply you with one.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy, and thank you, members of the Canaan Fire Company. Remember, the 46th Annual Washington's Birthday Ball will be held on Thursday, February 21st, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. at the North Canaan Elementary School Gymnatorium. This special program with the Canaan Fire Company has originated in our federal home studios in Canaan. And this is Ned Tichenor returning you to Great Barrington.